So it seems like the left has a new excuse for everything.
Well, Peter, I'm not a doctor. You're not a doctor. That I'm aware of. If you're a doctor, I wasn't aware of that today, until today. Okay, not a doctor. Just making sure. I don't know. And
Nor do you play one on TV.
nor does he play one on TV. There you go. Most days.
Not in this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the
biologist.
meaning of the word.
But don't worry, because now you can use those same arguments in your everyday life. Hey Dad, I'm gonna go outside and practice my pole vaulting with my pole that just so happens to be full of metal. I was wondering if it was storming outside. Son, I don't know. I'm not a meteorologist. Oh no, honey, I think I'm going into labor! Oh, well, that's too bad for you. I'm not a doctor. Man, can Elon Musk actually buy Twitter? That just seems absolutely crazy. I don't know, man. I'm not a billionaire that loves free speech. What you are about to experience is out of this world. Politics, history, and of course, a lot of entertainment. It's time to rock it with the Docket. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here with our very 94th episode of the Dockery Docket. I'm excited to be here, and I hope that you are excited to be here as well. And if you are excited to be here as well, make sure to go down below, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, so then you never miss one of my videos. So, when our founding fathers were writing the Bill of Rights, they knew that this little piece of paper was going to change the world forever. They also knew that the Constitution was going to be a living document, meaning that as time goes by, the bill will still be able to be molded with the times. For the Second Amendment, for example, the Founding Fathers knew that guns were changing, as there were guns like the Kalthoff repeater that shot 30 to 60 rounds a minute, which is similar to a standard AR-15. The founders also knew that the First Amendment was going to change with the times as well, as at this point in time, the printing press was just getting popular, and there were newspapers being created all over the place with all different sorts of opinions, and there were books being created at maximum speeds. Once again, all with different information and different opinions. And people were starting to get a lot of information. And then skip a few, let's just say, 100 odd years. Now we have the internet. And we have social media sites like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. How does free speech work into these platforms? What about our generation's new ideas of hate speech and giving out misinformation? Is free speech dead? And is there any way that we can possibly save free speech from its inevitable doom? Well, there is a man that is trying to save freedom of speech, and that is Elon Musk. As a few weeks ago, Musk decided to become the biggest shareholder on Twitter, meaning that he bought a lot of stock in the company, and if Twitter did anything wrong, he could drop the stock, and then the stock would plummet, leaving Twitter with very little value. He used his power to set up and try to buy Twitter outright. Just take it over. As Elon Musk offered to buy the entire company for a total of $43 billion. That's billion with a B. Why would Elon Musk do this? Well, because he's an absolute boss and he can do whatever he wants. And also, he's claimed to be a free speech absolutist. He wants to turn Twitter into a 100% free speech platform, where everyone can go and type their own opinions, and they won't get banned for those opinions. Elon Musk did this after the Babylon Bee and other people like Tucker Carlson were banned for saying that men are men and women are women, which is just a basic fact. However, we should all understand that Twitter is an absolutely terrible place when it comes to freedom of speech. People are constantly getting banned. And then when a Twitter page starts to get very, very popular, reporters start coming to their houses and start knocking on random people's door, trying to find their family members. And then that reporter goes on and makes an article which has the person of the Twitter's account's address in it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. That's a story for a little bit later, so make sure you stick around. Anyway, many wonderful blue check marks responded to this new idea of Elon Musk taking over Twitter as something terrible and dark, and the end of democracy as we know it. If Elon Musk takes over Twitter, we could all be fascists. One of these tweets read, "Today on Twitter feels like the last evening in a Berlin nightclub at the end of the Weimar Republic. Oh no, creating free speech is like the Nazis taking over. What an absolute dummy." Don't worry, I have more of these tweets. This one says, "Elon Musk buying Twitter is the end of the world, basically. He'll amplify every right-wing extremist Nazi he can find." There are more of these tweets, but all of them have the same exact message. Evil Rocket Man bad, and this is all a dangerous threat to our democracy. Making sure that freedom of speech is available to all people is what a democracy does. If you or a large company are deciding to ban people because of what they say or how they think, then that is a dictatorship. It's not a democracy. There are corporations that are actually saying this. As Time magazine wrote an article that said, "But many on the front lines of the fight for democratic spaces online have questioned whether Musk's move would undermine rather than bolster democracy. Employees of the platform and other experts have also spoken publicly about their fear that Musk may try to erode Twitter's recent moves to protect marginalized users and tackle harassment and misinformation. Good opinions beat out bad opinions." And I believe that it is good to allow people to talk about what they want to talk about. If we are able to have an honest conversation with people and see their point of view, then maybe it would change other people's minds. It would change our minds as well, which is a good thing. More ideas are better than fewer ideas. Along with this, these different blue check marks are also mad because apparently billionaires are bad. However, Mark Zuckerberg, an alien and also the head of Facebook, is a billionaire. And Jack Dorsey, the former head of Twitter, is also a billionaire. Recently, Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, bought the Washington Post. Business Insider responded to this by saying, "Billionaire Jeff Bezos, Washington Post buy marks a fascinating cultural transition in America." And then later when Elon Musk tried to buy Twitter, the same company wrote, "Elon Musk's attempt to buy Twitter represents a chilling new threat. Billionaire trolls taking over social media." What's the difference between these two billionaires? Well, politics a little bit, as Elon Musk shouldn't be considered as a conservative, but being a free speech absolutist is something way different than what these other billionaires are. Musk wants freedom of speech, which isn't what these other leaders want on their platform. They want a platform where they, the left, can do what they want and ban whoever they want and take total control of the platform. If they could, they would ban everyone that had the wrong opinion, or they would ban them for something that doesn't go along with the narrative that is being pushed right now. They want an echo chamber, and we can all clearly see that. There are some profiles on Twitter that blow up, and they are seen to some people as a dangerous threat to our democracy. The first of these was Donald Trump's Twitter account, and that's why he was banned. Then there was the Babylon Bee and Tucker Carlson. If they could, they would ban it 100%, just like Libs of TikTok. Now, you may remember this name because I used them a lot in the Groomers Are Gross episode. All that Libs of TikTok does is go on TikTok and find leftists saying crazy things, and then they post it on Twitter. That's it. That's all they do. But apparently, that is very, very bad, because it is targeting people, even though people are posting these things on TikTok to go public and to be popular. If you don't want your videos to blow up in your face because you said something stupid, then don't post them. Now, there's another side of the story to this whole Libs of TikTok situation, as there is a reporter named Taylor Lorenz, who recently, like in the beginning of April, went and did an interview with MSNBC and talked about how she was doxxed, meaning that her private address and all of her private information was leaked to the public. In an interview with MSNBC, Lorenz talked about how her being doxxed was a terrible situation, and that it gave her PTSD, and made her suicidal. Here's what some of that sounded like.
It's not safe enough for us to do them.
And they're not alone. This is after I did a report on an increase in the number of white supremacists running for office. Condescending journalists, C-word, deserves a rope. Obviously, I'm a person of color. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's a reference to a noose. Are you getting messages like these?
Yep. Hey, nice job on that story, you soulless effing Then also you'll see there's many people that are tweeting, these are Taylor Lorenz's loved ones.
They
of
have
everyone.
photos. Wow, these are all photos of your family members.
Yeah.
Children.
They'll threaten children. They'll threaten my parents. I've had to remove every single social tie. I had severe PTSD from this. I contemplated suicide. It got really bad. You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. And it's so isolating.
And terrifying.
It's horrifying. I'm so sorry. It's overwhelming. It's really hard.
Don't get me wrong, this would be a terrible situation for anyone. If, for example, thousands of people got your phone number and they kept calling you or texting you and saying that you're a terrible person and that you should go die, that is a terrible thing. Or if your address is released and people start coming up to your house and they start egging your house, or they spray paint it or do something terrible, that's wrong. And that's terrible that people do that. And you would want to make sure that other people wouldn't end up in that situation if you are a journalist. You as a journalist would do whatever you could to make sure that another citizen wouldn't be doxxed because you had the same experience happen to you and you don't want that experience to happen to them, right? Well, for Taylor Lorenz, she decided to dox libs of TikTok. As Taylor Lorenz made this whole big Washington Post article talking about how bad libs of TikTok is. In one of these sections, Taylor Lorenz writes, on March 8th, a Twitter account called Libs of TikTok posted a video of a woman teaching sex education to children in Kentucky, calling the woman in the video a predator. She added no context, because that was the camp called Sexy Summer Camp that talked about kids having sex while doing drugs. I talked about that on a recent podcast as well. She also mentions that the person that runs the account was Orthodox Jewish. Which, I'm not sure why that's even important, but it's still there. And also, she voted for Donald Trump. Seriously, someone should arrest this user, this Twitter page, right away. Along with that, the article has a link to the creator's employer, the employer's address, and all of their personal credentials, which means that their address was in that as well. In later versions of the article, that link is gone, as the Washington Post probably knew that they got caught. There's even a picture of Taylor Lorenz that Libs of TikTok posted that said, "Hi at Taylor Lorenz, which of my relatives did you enjoy harassing the most at their homes yesterday?" So this journalist was going around to random people's houses and trying to ask them about this woman that runs Libs of TikTok. Remember, this was a private citizen. This wasn't a politician or someone running for office. This was just an average person like you or me that created a Twitter account that blew up. And now they have crazy journalists coming to her and her other family members' houses. Doesn't this just sound creepy? However, Libs of TikTok continued to attack, as they posted a video of Taylor Lorenz talking about how online harassment is there to silence women. Which is ironic because Libs of TikTok is run by a woman. Here is what Taylor Lorenz had to say about that.
Online harassment is such a misnomer. I think it's a huge problem because harassment is a tool to silence people, especially women and people of color or people from marginalized identities, for speaking out. And there's a very intentional goal behind it. It's obviously it's death threats and all of that and rape threats on the daily. And it's not just Twitter, it's like every single surface, right? My cell phone number getting out there, people calling, people harassing my family members, stalking me, all of that is incredibly terrifying and invasive. And it's bled out into the physical world too, which is even more terrifying, right?
Isn't it ironic that Taylor is saying that all of these things are wrong and that they are terrible, which they are 100% and they shouldn't be done. And then she does a 360 and attacks a random citizen and does the exact same thing that people did to her. That's not fair. That's wrong. And it's also disgusting that she thinks that she and also the Washington Post can get away with this crap. Here's the situation. Taylor Lorenz has the right to speak freely under the First Amendment, just like everyone else. Also, Libs of TikTok has a right to post what liberals are doing on Twitter. The problem here is that Taylor Lorenz is being extremely hypocritical, and if she doesn't want other people to attack her and give out her information, then she shouldn't do that either. That is against journalistic ethics. especially when it's a private citizen. Some will say that this is real journalism, and it would have been a fine story if she would just have talked about what Libs of TikTok does online. She can do that, and she probably has done that before with other content creators. I am still hopeful that even though Libs of TikTok was ousted, that she will continue to post content that maybe I can use for the Dockery Docket. And we have also seen loads of support come her way, as the Babylon Bee is now going to hire her. Steven Crowder from Louder with Crowder had a whole rant about how this situation was wrong and that they are supporting Libs of TikTok 100%. Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, Michael Knowles have all been supportive, which is a great thing. Libs of TikTok, you are not alone. Moving on now, that wasn't the only thing that happened this week, as something else fantastic happened, as airlines have decided to lift the mask mandate. Well, it really wasn't the airlines, it was actually a Trump-appointed judge from Florida that struck down what she called the unconstitutional mask mandate. This means that you can now go on an airplane and you don't have to wear a mask. To some, this was extremely exciting, as there are videos all over social media of people taking off their masks and cheering. Here's a compilation of people cheering and taking off their masks on an airplane.
Announcement a few minutes ago, some of you may have seen the press release today that a judge overturned the mask mandate. My company announces at this moment, if you choose to, you may remove your mask. If you remain concerned or you're compromised, you certainly can keep your mask on.
And I just checked with the company, and the company position is, the Delta position is, masks will be optional this evening for all crew and passengers as well. So it is cause to celebrate, but for those who want to wear masks, please feel free to, but it is optional, and that way we can alleviate any stress and discomfort. Thank you very much.
On our Delta hub, it says mask now optional for employees, customers following White House announcements.
This person was so excited he had a trash bag and was walking down the aisle singing, "Throw your mask away." Here's how that sounded. Your mask in the blue bag. Throw away your mask. Now, you will notice that in the very first clip, every single person that announced the end of the mask mandate said if you want to keep your mask on, then keep it on. And if you don't want to keep your mask on, you can take it off. All of this now is about personal choice, which is what I've been saying for a long time, and I know other conservatives have also been saying that. For most of us, we all know that this whole COVID-19 stuff is over, and that is probably the best thing I've ever said on this podcast. Finally, we can go back to work, we can go back to our normal lives, and we will never have to worry about this stupid virus again. This is why people are cheering on airplanes, because for once in a very long time, they feel free to do what they want. Along with that, it is a fact that masks shouldn't even have been on airplanes to begin with, as airplanes have HEPA filters that take out all the old dirty air and puts in fresh air. They are hospital grade. They are 100% grade machines. The air that you're breathing in an airplane is probably safer than any other air in the world. That's why, for example, you don't suffocate on an airplane, because the air is constantly being circulated, so fresh air is always coming in. Now, with the mandate dropped, some people are saying that this means that they are required to take off the mask. This is not true, as if you want to keep your mask on, that's 100% fine. That's freedom of speech. That's freedom of expression. That is protected under the First Amendment. That's why ending this mandate was so important. However, some people were not very happy about this whole situation, as there were many celebrities that started to post their pictures with their masks and talking about how they will keep them on. As author and former Obama administration senior advisor Valerie Jarrett posted a photo of herself masked up in a car. She wrote, "Wearing my mask, no matter what non-scientists tell me I can do. And to this I say, you are correct. No one has to tell you what to do, and you can keep on wearing your mask if you want to. No one is telling you that you have to take it off. Then there was this guy, who is a celebrity, I think, as he has an internet show. His name is Roland Martin, and he posted a picture with a mask on along with his goggles with the caption, "I don't give a dang what some grossly unqualified Donald Trump judge said. I'm double masked and wearing goggles on my Nashville to DC flight. I had COVID in December." He continued by saying, "Y'all can kiss my butt," about me not wanting it again. And any fool saying they don't matter is a darn liar. I, of course, had to censor some of that, but that's fine. The point is, you can keep your mask on if you want to. There are people in my life right now that will probably wear masks for a very long time, even after COVID is completely over, and that's completely fine, because they have a right to do it. It just seems like to me, though, that these celebrities, along with different politicians like Joe Biden and Jen Psaki, if they could, they would demand everyone to continue to wear a mask on any form of transportation. This might have made sense in the past when COVID was really bad, but we know now that COVID is over. The death rates are low. The spread of the virus is low. But still it seems that people want to hang on to these mask mandates. They want to hang on to the control because they like the power. And now with COVID ending and people starting to take off their masks, the politicians are losing their power. And personally, I am excited for that power to go away, because it means that people will be able to have the freedom to choose if they want to wear a mask or if they don't want to wear a mask. And that's a good thing. That is the First Amendment. Personal points of view being able to be spread, personal thoughts being able to be shared, and personal choices like wearing a mask or not wearing a mask are all of a part of the First Amendment. And I'm happy that this Florida judge stood up to protect the First Amendment. In the end, is freedom of speech dead? No, I do not believe that freedom of speech is dead, but I do believe that freedom of speech is in danger, especially when it comes to social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even YouTube. Constantly, people's points of view are being pushed down. People are getting banned for saying basic scientific facts. And sometimes YouTube's algorithm doesn't work the right way, and videos like mine that talk about politics don't get as much views as other people's videos. This is why I'm doing something a little bit different. I know that there may be a day, hopefully soon, where my videos will blow up. This could mean that I could be banned from YouTube or on other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I hope that if or when that situation happens, that you will stand up for me and also other content creators that are banned. Also, I created a new channel on Rumble, which Rumble is just another type of YouTube, where I will be posting political breakdowns like when Joe Biden shook hands with a ghost. I hope that you will go over there and subscribe. The link will be down in the description down below, so you can go over to Rumble and watch that video. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for watching this episode of the Dockery Docket. And until next time, like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving, goodbye.